Hey superstars, welcome to the Get Rich Without Being a Bitch podcast. I am Vanessa Shaw, your host for the journey that we're about to embark upon. Listen, if you're in business for yourself, you want to enjoy financial empowerment, live life on your terms, and frankly, live a much richer life, you are going to be in the right place because we are going to be challenging stereotypes, breaking through glass ceilings, giving you the tips, tools, and strategies that can help you be a better version of you, build life and business on your terms. So be sure to subscribe because you are not going to want to miss an episode. Go to your favorite podcast platforms on Apple or Spotify and hit subscribe now. And I can't wait to start the journey with you. Hey there, welcome back superstars to another episode of Get Rich Without Being a Bitch. And I'm Vanessa Shaw, your host for the journey that we are taking together. Really important topic today, people and tolerations. And we're going to put the two together. If you've listened to a previous episode, you'll know that one of my core concepts we teach is the $1 million question, which is you won't get what you want in life, you'll get what you tolerate. And it's a process we take our clients through very regularly, doing an audit of where we're tolerating and where that's causing an energy drain. And we need to raise our standards. We need to let go of certain things, right? And take things to the next level. Otherwise, it just feels way too cumbersome and really heavy as a process when we're up leveling. And frankly, this works for anything, whatever we're trying to up level. But one of the places that comes up very, very frequently is around people. And Vanessa, what if this means that I have to let certain people go? Well, I can't sugarcoat this one today because the reality is you've already got that inner saboteur that's playing havoc probably inside your head. It's giving you so many reasons why you can't get ahead or why it's not going to work, right? It's that naysayer, it's the negative, it's risk averse, right? It's you're not good enough. Fill in the blanks. You've already got that going on. And that's a powerful force that you've already got to be dealing with and taming and managing so you can get ahead. But now let's add on the outside some negative people, naysayers, people that are going to keep giving you the message as to why you can't do something or why something isn't going to work. Or frankly, they are just tuned into all the negativity in the news. By the way, side note, I don't watch the news. It's not that I want to be blind to what's going on in the world, but have you ever watched the news when all it is positive and it's stories of hope and optimism and feel good? No. Because that's not how the news works, right? The news is all about negativity. Sometimes there might be the odd story in there that gets you hooked into something positive, but on the whole, it's really negative. And frankly, for me, I find it plays havoc with my mindset. I find it very draining and it can start to get me into, oh my gosh, like the world is such a bad place if we tune into the news. Now, if you've got naysayers in your world, and by the way, these might be, unfortunately, friends that you've had for a long time, you've grown up with them, you've grown apart, you're starting to grow apart, you kind of got accustomed to having them in your life, and they're pretty negative. They get into drama and distractions and toxic behaviors and gossiping, all of those things that you probably don't need to be engaging in because you're up to much bigger things. Unfortunately, and I said I'm not going to sugarcoat this one today, family members can be really tough. Our family of origin. I know that a lot of the women that I'm working with are breaking away from certain patterns of their family of origin. There might be some cultural things that they grew up with, some religious things that they grew up with, mindsets around money. Perhaps family members weren't in business. They believe that you shouldn't be in business for yourself and you should be getting a job and that's where security is, whatever it can be. But I know a lot of the women over the years have been not necessarily breaking away from family per se, but breaking away from some of the patterns that have existed within their family. And there's a lot of those mindsets. And this can be a really, really difficult place to navigate because it's some of the people that you love. They're being close to you. They've been in your life for a long time. And as you start to grow and you have different mindsets, that gap between you and family members can start to get bigger. And it can be really, really uncomfortable. And as they see you growing, they can be the very people that are starting to reinforce that voice that's inside your head, the one that you are trying to deal with. You're trying to keep quiet. And now all of a sudden you've got people around you that are echoing that voice. This becomes really difficult to navigate. You've got it going on the inside and you've got it going on the outside. So yes, it is important as you grow to start to become discerning of who gets to spend time in your world. Who is privy, first and foremost, to your deepest desires, your biggest dreams, those things that you are going after? You do not have to share that with anybody. These are sacred. And when they are new and you haven't gained a lot of traction, they're also delicate. I call those like the seeds of desire. Imagine you've just planted these little seedlings, hopefully some fertile ground, but sometimes that ground for you is not feeling that fertile. And then somebody comes along and tramples on that seedling. The chance of it actually surviving without it being nurtured, right, is minimal. And that's what it's like when you share your dreams and desires with the wrong people that are going to put you down, people that are going to laugh, mock you, be the naysayers, give every reason as to why it's not going to work. That seedling of desire is there trying to grow inside of you. And now we're letting somebody else crush it. So my first place is always to say, like, be mindful of who you are sharing with. You don't owe it to anybody to share your big dreams and your deepest desires with them. They, frankly, need to earn the right. They need to show that they are a safe space, that they are a positive influence in your life, that you can share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they won't hold it against you, that they will be there for all of those moments, right? To cheerlead you, to remind you of your greatness, to remind you of how far you've come, and also, frankly, to be there as a support, a great shoulder to cry on, a phenomenal ear, somebody that can be a great sounding board when things don't go to plan. Those are the sorts of people that you need. It's really important. It's absolutely critical that you put some boundaries around those naysayers, toxic people, and start to think about who it is that you want to have in your life. And they may not be in your life right now. You may have to seek them out. That new community that you need to be a part of, that you want to be a part of. Perhaps it doesn't exist right now, but start to set the intention that you want to be involved in different conversations. You want to be surrounded by people that are on that growth path, that are up to big things. I always remember this when in those early stages of going into business for myself. And it was actually when I was at a pivot in my business. I was still in Europe at the time. I had lost my corporate contract. I was rebuilding the business. And in that rebuild is when I started to become very cognizant of the fact that I wanted to shift away from big organizations, a largely male-dominated practice, and I wanted to make the shift into small business owners. I don't think back then I was even that clear that it was women. I honestly don't think I was, but it was more this kind of leaving the big corporations and going into small business and more entrepreneurs. And I remember signing up with a mentor, a coach and mentor. I was in Europe. She was in the States. It was actually one of the reasons that I came to Arizona. She was located here in Tucson. And I walked into a room full of probably 250 to 300 women. They were all coaches. That was her speciality. Hence, she'd marketed to me, and I joined a program. I'd flown from Switzerland to Arizona, and I walk into a room that has got this amazing vibe. As I say, 250, 300 women, all on a growth path. being very vulnerable about the things that weren't working. They're declaring their financial goals. It was the first time ever that I had been in a room full of women who were talking numbers and declaring these big numbers and these financial goals that they wanted to go after. I'd never heard so many people and women talking about money. And I was blown away, right? So all of a sudden, this conversation became normalized. Here was I, when I was in my own kind of small community back in Switzerland, very conservative. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about these things. Certainly my family background, we don't talk about them. There was definitely some alluding to people that have money, probably haven't got it by the best way, right? All of those stories that were going on. So these were not conversations that I was in. And all of a sudden, this conversation is normalized. Not only is it normalized, it was celebrated. So successes, women's success, women hitting their financial goals, women surpassing their financial goals was celebrated. I then went on to win a couple of awards in that program because I hit and surpassed my financial goals, right? So it's normalized and it became celebrated and supported. A place to go to not be judged, but to have other people that are supporting you. And I cannot tell you enough how much that informed my own mindset, starting to see other people around me that appear to be very normal, not drastically different from myself, but they're just talking about their dreams and desires. They're hitting their goals. And instead of it, all of us being that conversation before of, oh my gosh, I'm not up for this. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough. I haven't got the MBA. It became, why not me? I'm seeing somebody else across the table. Why not me? This becomes possible for me too. So important to think about the people in your life. Let's go back to the million-dollar question for one moment. Who are you tolerating? I know full well you have people in your life right now who are not supportive of you. You are tolerating their naysaying. You're tolerating their negativity. Sometimes it's not that easy to cut them out. And I'm not saying that that's the only solution, but perhaps there are some new boundaries to be drawn. Perhaps there's some new discernment around what you share and what you choose not to share. And perhaps there are some people, undoubtedly, that yes, you do need to cut out. You need to not be giving them the grace of your energy, your presence, your amazing talents, your gifts, all of those. Like, value yourself. Start to really take a stand for yourself so that you don't tolerate, right, being around that type of energy and negativity. Now, chances are that might start to leave a bit of a gap, a hole, because that's the next thing that comes up. Well, where do I belong? Who am I going to start to hang out with? Where do I find those people? Start by setting the intention that you want to start surrounding yourself with new people that are in those growth mindsets. That they are all over the world too, right? And it's back to, where do you put your energy? Start by at least setting the intention. Because frankly, if you start to just get one amazing person like that who is there to support your mindset, to expand your mindset, to support your dreams and your goals, take a stand for your greatness when you can't see that for yourself, and to hold you to your vision, you really want to lean into that person. If you are fortunate enough to have that person as a really close friend, I have a couple of just amazingly special friends that are there for me, for everything. And they always lift me up. Make sure that you are appreciating them and nurturing them. And of course, I am going to give a plug, right? If you're listening to this and you know that you want an amazing coach and you want to be surrounded by other women that are up to big things in their business, then make sure you book a session and talk to us. Share what you're up to. I want to hear about your dreams and goals. What's getting in the way? Let's put together that roadmap for your success. Because I hold one of these very rare positions in somebody's life, and it's frankly a privilege to do so. I was sharing with somebody who's joining one of our programs earlier today. My agenda is your success, and that is a very rare relationship to have, right? Where we're just really committed to your success and working together to get you there. So yes, fantastic coaches can be that person too. Let's just come back to the $1 million question. What are you tolerating? Who are you tolerating? The honesty no longer deserves to be in your energy and your presence. It's a really important question. It's a tough one at times to answer. It's a massive game changer, though, when you can be really, really truthful and start to surround yourself with that community that is supportive and frankly wants more for you than they want from you. I'm going to close out this podcast today on that note. If you have enjoyed it today, please leave a review. Positive reviews really help us. It helps the podcast, helps us get more traction as well. Please subscribe and share with women that you care about, women that need to hear these messages. Again, this content is for free. What brings me joy is to know that it's making a difference in somebody's life and making a difference in a woman's life, that she is more empowered and particularly financially empowered. Thank you so much for joining. Can't wait to catch you on the next podcast.